She's actually, she calls herself, let me see if I can get this right. Tajay? Tajay?
T.I.J. Mm-hmm.
And we it's a little joke that we had on our last conversation, and I want her to explain to the readers what that means.
So that's Jill of all trades spelled backwards. And like you said, I have my hand in like so many different things. So I just label myself as that because, you know, I feel like I could do a lot of different things. Like I shock myself when I find out all that I could do. So I just said, I'm a Jill of all trades. Thank the God.
That's something very different. And at least she knows that her potential, from what I know so far, in our recent conversation, she is a Brooklynite / Jamaica Queens resident. Mm-hmm. So she knows the areas. She knows Brooklyn and she knows Jamaica Queens. Now, you were also in the service. Mm-hmm. And to a lot of people that would be very, I guess they'll be very intrigued by you. So I want you to tell us when you came home, mm-hmm. you decided you wanted to, want to go back to school. You graduated with a double master's. Mm-hmm. Pretty much, you did your thing. So we want to tell us how you managed mm-hmm. to do all of this. Number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, tell us what you're doing now.
Okay, so I served in the Air Force for 10 years, and I was deployed and stationed in many different places. Then came home in 2018. So I had 2 years to complete a bachelor's and 2 master's degrees. So I did that, and then now I'm actually doing hair, and I have a clothing company that I'm putting together. I'm writing a book, and it's based off of like life after trauma and how to still have like a beautiful, peaceful life. And just to make sure that I do not miss anything, I'm singing, of course. I am a singer. I write music and I do musical artwork, and I put that out there. So I'm working on these many different things. And yeah, as I continue to go along my journey, new things pop up, which is what I love about life. There's so many different things that you could do. So those are the things that I'm currently working on right now. Hair, music, writing the book, my clothing line.
And you did mention that you are acting as well.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God.
Can't forget that, because that's like the most exciting thing going on right now.
It is.
And I know you're in a Ray Lute production, yes. Who is an amazing person, by the way. He's very talented.
He is so amazing. I was telling him the other day, I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to work with him, because not only have I had fun doing it, him pushing me because he sees more in me is like what I so much appreciate. Like he's setting me up to just work like with so many different people just through like how he pushes me, you know what I mean? So I love that about him. Yes, he's a great person. His character is great and everything. So yes, I am acting. We're working on a movie right now called In Vain. I've done some act work with the Forced Descent crew. So yeah, like that's He's amazing, and I'm like I said, I'm so grateful for him giving me the opportunity to work with him in his different films and even incorporating me into his ideas of film. So yeah.
Okay, and you did mention In Vain. In Vain, come on, tell us. I'm excited. I'm excited with this film in itself.
It's a vampire movie. And yeah, it's a vampire movie. I don't know if I even want to give too much. It's a vampire movie, and just like stay tuned for it. Like we're still shooting scenes right now, but yeah, I love it. Like I just got bit the other day. I had to do one of my scenes, but yes, it's really fun. We had went out to the Poconos at one point. We had a great time just shooting out there. Like, I mean, we started from like 6 in the evening to like almost 6 in the morning. So yeah, we're really working on this movie. We're going hard.
That's y'all are serious. That's serious right there. Going from 6 to 6. That's big. So what is your tip for those that want to get into the industry as far as what you're doing now? Because that's pretty big. That's pretty big. And I mean, as far as tips are concerned, like anything as far as improving your acting skills, what kind of tips can you offer?
So for me, I'm just starting, but with all that I've learned thus far, I would have to say, okay, so for one, now when I watch TV, it's not the same as I used to watch TV. I used to watch TV to know the situation, to hear the story. Now I'm watching it to see how the actors are acting. So I kind of take note from them. I'm watching, how they how they relay their lines, like their body movements, how serious they get into character. Um, Another thing I've learned is, of course, I've heard this, but to actually do it, you got to put in work, of course. Like I said, we started at 6 and then we stopped filming at almost 6 in the morning. We were very tired, but that's a sacrifice you make for something that you truly want to do, and like I said, I'm grateful to be part of the project. So there's no complaint on my end. Like, his camera dying basically saved us. Like, okay, we're done. But I was prepared to
Mhm.
continue to, go on. But
Mhm.
so I'm it's just, just putting in that work. But I love it. I love, acting as a different character. It feels good. I'm coming out of my shell. Like, some things I'm not too comfortable with, but I see myself growing into that, as I continue to do different things like act or sing. Because I'm a very
Mhm.
reserved girl, but with my music and my acting, like I said, it's like taking me out of my shell and it's doing things that I used to say, I'm never gonna do that, but I see myself doing
Right,
it.
right.
And you're telling a story, so yeah. It's just, yeah. I think with acting too, each person have their own journey in it because it's based off a choice. So
Mhm.
yeah, that yeah. So like I said,
You
hmm,
got a lot going on and you have a lot to offer. So at the same time, you are self-caring
hmm.
while you are doing the things that you love. How do you keep up with, because you're a beautiful young lady, so how do you keep up with that centering?
That's prayer. That's God. I had a relationship with God before having
Mm-hmm.
access to the things that I have access to
Right.
now. And
Mm-hmm.
always praying that, God, you guide my steps. You put me to where I want to be. Me
That's
doing
right.
what I do is not about fame, it's not about people knowing who I am. It's about me just doing what I love and what I enjoy. And so I asked God to, align me to where I need to be. So, people have the statement of God first, but their actions or whatever they got going on, you can see like, they're chasing more than, God. I chase God, and I believe that everything I'm supposed to have, He will put me in right in that. For acting, for instance, like when I came from the military and I started school, I said, God, I want to do some short films, I want to do some low budget movies. I want to do things because I just want to act. I want to have fun. And that was the door He opened up for me. I met Ray, and that's how like it went from there. So it's all like I just asked God to put me where I need to be. My soul is not hungry for the money or whatever. I believe if you trust and you follow God, those things will follow. If you're meant
Okay.
to have those things, you
Yeah.
will have. But um, yeah, it's prayer for me, prayer for strength, when you're doing all that God is calling you to do or He puts you to do, you don't have to worry about being tired and drained and whatnot. After filming, I would feel accomplished. I'll feel happy. My spirit is joyful. Like I'm not sitting there like feeling
Right.
out of place. I feel good. So, I just ask God to put me where I need to be. And I believe and trust that I will be there. And when I am there, everything that I have in me will come out in those moments. And
Mhm.
even reviving me or refreshing me if I need, you know what I mean? But yeah, and everything that I'm doing is something I prayed in the beginning of 2020. I prayed and I asked God, I said, what am I supposed to be doing? Because to be honest, I felt depleted in the beginning of 2020.
Mhm.
I felt
Mhm.
lost of my dreams. I felt like I didn't know what I was doing with myself. So it was the beginning of 2020 was actually a time for me to recenter myself before God because I kind of was off, and I was doing things backwards. Oh, I'm doing this, but I did not feel fulfilled. And so I sat
Okay.
down with God and I asked for Him to redirect me. What am I supposed to be doing? And then it just came to me, it lined up.
Mhm.
And those are the things that I work on. So I don't
Mhm.
do things because everybody else is doing it, right? So I don't look at somebody and be like, oh, she's doing this, so maybe I need to
Right.
do that. That's
Mhm.
not what I was told to do. I'm gonna follow what I'm supposed to do. I'm gonna cheer for you on that side, but this is what I'm aligned to do.
That is a beautiful thing,
Hmm.
because my next question is leading us into that. If you could have pressed the rewind button, would you be doing what you want to do, or would you have changed anything as far as, the whole scenario that you're in now? Would you have changed anything back then?
So it's so funny. I thought about this to myself already. So being in the military is so comforting, right? So it's like it's safe. You're
Okay.
in service and it's a safe thing to do.
Right.
People usually do 20 years active duty because it's safe. You have your money coming in, you have your home, you're gonna have your family, you are
Right.
safe. You know the dynamic
Mm-hmm.
of the service that you're serving in. So to get
Mm-hmm.
out and to say, you know what, I'm going to take a different route. I wasn't comfortable even 100% making that decision,
Right.
because I knew that I was safe. So now coming out is like I'm on my own, because technically the military chooses everything for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Joining, I knew I wanted to join because I knew I wanted something different. I knew that growing up in New York, like I needed to see something different. The military gave
Mm-hmm.
me a lot of trials, and I was faced with a lot of obstacles, and it forced me to grow. So that was
Mm-hmm.
that, right? But I don't think the journey was meant to last for 20 years. But
Right.
sometimes I would tell myself, like, Dad, you shouldn't have got out. You shouldn't have got out. Why would you get out? But it was
Mm-hmm.
crazy because just this morning I thought about it and I was like, if you didn't get out, would you be doing all that you're doing right now? You wouldn't
That's
be.
right.
And it's like you
Mm-hmm.
come to peace with your past when you realize like what you truly destined for, what you truly
Right.
want to do. It's gonna be there, and you're gonna do it. You know what I mean? So I
Mm-hmm.
am happy that I took the leap of faith to do what I had to do, and I did come to at peace with the decision that I've made to say I'm doing what I love, so this is right. You
Right.
know what I mean? Because at times I would say that like, yo, I shouldn't have got out, but then it's like, look at all that you've accomplished since you've been out too.
Right.
Is
Right.
not life is not just staying in one box in one bubble, which is what I'm learning is you going out there, you
Mm-hmm.
figuring things out, even with mistakes that we say that we made, which I don't call
Right.
mistakes. They're definitely lessons, and you grow from that, you build from that. You feel me? Like if you're supposed to be somewhere, you're going to be there.
That's
So
right.
just
That's
take it,
right.
So yeah.
I mean, at this point, what's the best, or what would you describe as being the best compliment that you ever in your life received? What compliment can you sit here and actually remember? Like, wow, that actually made me a better person, or it just kind of boosted me further?
When people say this is crazy, when people say how I have a calm aura, to me, I feel like it's a compliment because I remember going through stuff and people would say, "Oh, you bring this calmness to me," and I'm like, "Excuse me," because I'm going through a lot. So it encouraged me. Kind of,
Right. That's
if I
yeah.
feel like calm to you, let me be calm to myself. Let me be that gentleness to me
Wow.
too, because a lot of
Hmm.
people that like I gravitated towards you because I feel that peace, that inner this, that inner that. So it was a compliment because it made me look within to say like, okay, if there's something that you see inside of me and that you want to latch onto me for, let me latch onto my own self for that too. Because I used to feel like I was all over the place, or I just felt all over the place at times. And when people tell me I was that calm and that peace to them, I decided to do that for myself, and that made me grow into more of a better person for me. Like when I'm by myself and I'm alone with my thoughts, I remember that I am peace. So I be that. So
Hmm. Hmm.
that was it for me.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. And what would your parents describe as far as what you're doing now? What would they describe as being what you're doing for a living? Like how would they put that into words?
My mom's favorite line to me is, "The world is your oyster, baby girl. So you could do whatever you want." Like she's big on that. Like so, she was like, if you shoot, she was like, you could do whatever. So shoot for the stars. She's
That's
very
right.
encouraging. So I just go with that. So yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, as long as my mom biggest thing is, can you take care of yourself, and that's it. And I'm big on that. Like I have trouble dating because I know, like, listen, I need to be able to take care of myself. If I can't take
Right.
care of myself, there's a problem. I don't want no one putting me out their house, telling me that that's not mine, working hard
Mhm.
for me. So yeah, I mean, but um,
Mhm.
the good thing with me, and I'm grateful for this, is the backup that I do have as far as like, I have the military, my military background. I have my master's degree, so and now I'm doing what I like to do as far as like entertainment wise. I met with Kanye I mean not Kanye. Oh Lord Jesus, I met with Akon. I met him at Waffle House one time.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
I met him at the Waffle House one time. I was sitting there late night and I was eating, and then he came in. I was in Georgia, and I remember he said, because I asked him, I said, "What kind of advice would you give me as far as for artists and stuff?" And he
Right.
said, "Make sure you got your 9 to 5 or whatever you need to do to make sure you secure what you need to
Okay.
secure. And then when you get,"
Mhm.
he said, "invest it into stocks and bonds." And he said, "Buy land and do different things like that, and make sure your credit is up." He gave me real knowledge. And it's funny because we chase this dream and entertainment as, oh, I'm going to be rich and I'm going to be famous. But we never have our financial situations in place, and we never have it right. So I'm grateful that, I was able to get that advice. So that way I don't have that illusion in my mind of, oh, this is going to just take all the
Right.
problems. Because
Right.
that's not it. We're still called to be responsible over our finances, no matter how much we make. We're still called, to be dominant over our, our spendings, watch how we spend and different things like that. So I'm great. It's so crazy too. Not to just go all over the place, but
Okay. It's
to
okay.
have the ability to serve, to go to school, and then to do acting, because this is something that people usually do,
Right.
before. But
Hmm.
now you have knowledge with it. You know what I mean? So now you should be able to operate in the industry even better because you have knowledge. So yeah.
I mean, you just kind of, again, it's like you're reading my mind. I was going to ask you if there were three people that you can have dinner with.
Oh.
Who would those people be? I mean, I don't know if Akon was on the list. It was just kind of like, destined for you to bump into him. But
Mhm.
is he a part of the three people?
Um,
That that
he
that would be
wouldn't
the next.
be a part of the 3 people, so I'm grateful that God ordained for that
Yeah.
moment to happen, because I wouldn't have thought of him as being, that. So, but the advice he gave me, I'm grateful that he gave me that. But I think I do have 3 people. It would have to be. It's funny. I had this conversation. Jay-Z would definitely be one. He's a
Oh,
businessman.
right. Gotta throw Jay-Z at the dinner table, huh?
Yes, because he's a businessman. I love his mind. I love how he operates. He's a billionaire. And it's funny because I've really been a fan of his music.
Mm-hmm.
But once 444 hit, I mean, I've never been a fan of rap music in general. So, but
Uh-oh.
even then,
See, I'm from the old school, so you can't tell me that. You,
huh?
you, you I'm from the old school, so you basically, I'm a hip hop head, but
Hmm.
I'm gonna get you to listen to some old stuff back when I was growing up.
Oh, I do
But
a lot of
Jay
old
Z
stuff
is
now
it.
too. I do now. It's funny because now I find myself really engaged into rap heavy. Like Chef G, I'm listening to Chef G. I'm listening to Vaughn. I was just looking at his video earlier. Like I'm into all of that. I'm into creativity.
Right.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but what made me really like picking Jay Z as one of the people I have dinner with, because I feel like I will walk away from a table full of knowledge, full of business
Right.
ideas, filled with.
Yeah.
I mean, he will set it down, and I wouldn't even have to ask questions. I just feel like he would just
Mhm.
he would give
Yeah.
it. He's a
Mhm.
very smart man,
Yeah.
and like it was funny. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and it was like, Jay Z is not around. And I said, Jay Z did what he had to do. You know,
Mhm.
he took his music. He knew what he was doing with
Yep.
music. It had nothing to do with popularity or fame. That's why he doesn't even have an Instagram. He doesn't even have a social media.
Mhm.
Look
Mhm.
what he said, and he's a billionaire. And like I love his mindset on that. So yeah, 444 came out. 2020 started. I
Mhm.
remember driving to a park and exercising every day, and
Mhm.
to I'm listening to Jay Z. Like Okay, heard you say that. Okay, like I'm turning into a
Right.
businesswoman listening to him.
Hmm.
Like, okay, yeah. So he would be one of them. The other two, I don't know. I think Will Smith will be one. Will
Good choice. He's
yeah,
smart.
and
Hmm.
yeah, smart man, most definitely filled with a lot of knowledge and wisdom.
Hmm.
Um, Scanning my mind to see. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Akon. I don't know. Yeah, because he was
You
silently filled.
see,
I'm
you
trying to think
cheated.
of a woman. I'm trying to think of a woman. That I would have. Oh, Michelle. What? Michelle Obama. What am I saying? Yeah, most definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. She
And that
is.
would be interesting. That would be a very interesting dinner with Jay-Z, Michelle Obama,
And was.
and Will Smith. And then
Mhm.
you're sitting there, you would be overwhelmed.
I would, but I would take it all in. I'm a learner. I love to learn as much as like sometimes I shock myself to see what I know. I love to learn. I love to grow. I love to know when I'm wrong. I love life for what it is. You know what I mean? And that comes
Mhm.
with like learning. Like life
Right.
is learning and ground. So yeah. And I feel
Mhm.
like
And
it's
then
people who've been through some things and they
right.
they have so much to teach. So yeah.
And see that would be an influential thing for you
Hmm.
to, like when they say it's that's one to grow on, that's what
Hmm.
they mean. So those three influential people, the people that you mentioned, those people can give you the insight that you need. But like I said, you probably won't be overwhelmed to the extent where you won't use the knowledge,
Hmm.
but you would be overwhelmed to where you'll be excited
Right.
to use the
Yeah,
knowledge.
yeah, because now I feel like you've given me tools, to crack codes in certain
Right.
areas of my life where I don't have to make the mistake in order to learn. You taught it to
Mhm.
me. And these are people, like I said, they went through their hurdles. And so they're speaking to teach, and they have like, yeah, so I would definitely learn from them, take away from them.
Well, well, let me ask you this. Where can our readers find you online on social media? If they needed to look for you right now, where
Mhm.
would they go?
They can go to Instagram.
Hmm.
That's where I'm heavily engaged at right now. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, Instagram. So
Hmm.
DIEZSSNA is where that's my Instagram page, and I have I have a lot of content that I've kind of
Hmm.
drafted an itinerary for the year just for my followers. So yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. Now, this is a good one. I had to throw this at you. How would you describe your life using film titles?
Filming
Just
titles.
yeah.
Oh, is it a movie already made or one that I could generate myself?
It could be one that's already made because that, probably would be more connecting with our readers.
Um, it's so crazy. I can't even think of a title that's already made. But if I was to make one of my own,
I know that with all the stuff that's going on, if
mhm,
you do make one of your own,
mhm,
I'm probably going to go see it because you got a lot of stuff going on. So what would it be? What would that title be?
probably be Silent Surprises.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Silent Surprises?
Silent Surprises.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. So I'm not even going to ask. I'm not going to ask because it
Silent.
kind of it kind of speaks for itself.
Mhm.
Silent surprises. To me, that's like, so then now I want to ask, what's your motto? What do you live by?
So I just say, make it make sense. That's my thing. I always say that. Make it make sense. That's my thing. For now.
Why would your story be familiar to others? Why would it be so familiar?
Because um like many, you've been through your journey, you've been through your hurdles, you've been through some things, and then you
Mhm.
bounce back, like you realize that beast that's within you, like no
Yeah.
situation was able to stop you, nothing, like,
Yeah.
and that's what I love about life. No matter what we go through is made to make us stronger. And those are
Mhm.
things like I will always want people to know, like no matter what the
Mhm.
situation is, there's always a bounce back. You can go in the valley, but you back up on top of the mountain. And that's just how
That's
it is.
right.
So my
Yeah.
story, of course, is like everybody else, you know, like we all been through some things, but the beauty about it is how you conquer it, you know, how
Right.
you allow yourself to stand victorious from it.
Mhm.
You know, never a
Mhm.
victim type mindset, but always like, you know, up, up from it. So yeah.
I'm sorry, but I want to know, what should we expect from you within the next couple of months?
A lot because I'm not playing with myself. My foot is on my neck, and it's crazy because I expect a lot from myself. So
Mhm.
I look at like all that I'm doing and my creativity. You know, I talk to God about it, and I'm like, I see it as me, as my audience. You know, I'm
Mhm.
waiting to see how, like, if I don't give up on this, what could happen? If I stay consistent in this, what could go? You know, if I take
That's
this
right.
small beginning and I run with it, how big would it be? Like, what would
Mhm.
happen? I'm eager to see what's going on. So just as eager as maybe others are looking at me, I'm looking at myself in that way too. So expect a lot because I'm willing to give a lot, and I'm in that position. Like I think, you know, it's so crazy. Like I got tired of myself at one point. Like, listen, there's no we looking at these ideas no more.
Yeah.
Pure execution. We're not waiting for certain resources to be, or we're not waiting for perfect moments. We doing this now. So
Right.
definitely
Mhm.
look out for any idea that I have. I'm executing it. Like so, and I have a lot of ideas. So that's how I'm moving with this one.
Wow. 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 Very nice. Very nice. Well, I am excited for you,
Thank you.
and I look forward to seeing all of your work. Thank you so much for
Thank,
meeting with me today.
thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Abigail Blount.
Mhm.
She is the future, and she's about to take over. So, and trust me when I say take over, because you got it.
Thank
You
you.
have, you have it. And
Thank
thanks again